Hello, I'm Willa Lynn Smith. Today's April 30th, 2025, and I remember when God opened the door for me to go to the mission field, fulfilling a calling that I had first experienced in 1968 in Tennessee Camp Meeting. But the year I'm going to refer to was the General Assembly in Dallas-Fort Worth in 1974. That would have been my third year to sign a contract to teach math with Cleveland Middle School. And the Lord impressed me, don't sign your contract yet before the General Assembly. I'm going to open doors for you that you don't know about. So I didn't. I knew that if I signed that contract and went to Dallas-Fort Worth and decided not to teach math, Tennessee would pull my teaching license. So I needed to protect my license for future. So when I arrived at the Dallas-Fort Worth General Assembly, I was with a spiritual mom, Mevelyn Haston, sister of Lambert DeLong, and we were early at service one night, and on the screen, they posted in the message center, Willa Faye Lynn. Now, this was 1974, before I married. And I laughed, and I said, look, two people in this world with the same name, and I started laughing. And she looked at and she said, no, that's you. I'll keep your seat. You go see what the message is. So when I go down behind the message center, there was W.D. Alton and his wife Lorraine, superintendent of Central and South America at that time. And there was Robert and Barbara Goodrich, missionaries in Guatemala City. The Goodriches, along with 4 or 5 other missionaries from different denominations, had decided that it was time to begin a school in Guatemala City in English for missionary children, and they would use the program out of Garland, Texas, called Accelerated Christian Education, or ACE School. So various missionary families had returned to the States that summer, all searching for 2 teachers, male or female. One teacher needed to have a master's degree and 2 years of experience. The other was just a bachelor's degree. So Bill Alton said to the Goodriches, I don't know anybody who would be willing to go and work. You'll give them a place to sleep and food to eat, but you can't pay them, and you want them to have a master's degree and 2 years of experience and a missionary call? I don't know anyone. And Lorraine said to him, oh, what about that girl? That girl. And he had been like a spiritual dad to me, and he had forgotten. Yes. And so they called me there to tell me. So the Goodriches explained their need, and they wanted to return in August from the General Assembly and open the school. And I said, well, let me pray about it. I'll meet you here tomorrow night. I want to, 24 hours later. And I left that place, I remember today, crying and singing as I went skipping back. His banner over me is love. I knew that was why the Holy Spirit had impressed me not to sign the contract. So I returned the next night, and I told them, yes, I'll come, but I can't come for 30 days. They sighed, why? And I said, I have to return home, sign my contract to teach, sign my resignation the same day, and then when the city finds a teacher, I can come. That happened in 2 weeks. They released me. But then I drove from Cleveland, Tennessee to Garland, Texas for 1 week of training with Accelerated Christian Education Company, returned back to Cleveland, bought an airline ticket, and flew to Guatemala. And God miraculously used those 2 years in my life because I had applied to the Church of God World Missions to be a missionary and was told, well prepared, we're going to file your application. We don't use single women. And so this was giving me the opportunity to go to the mission field with their blessings, working with our missionaries. And after 2 years, the rest is history. They went to the missions board. They made an appointment, sending me to teach in our seminary in Panama, giving me the opportunity to go through Costa Rica and further my Spanish studies and work in Panama with Brother and Sister McCall. What a memory.
Tell us about your call to missions, which had occurred several years earlier.
My call, I am a Tennessee farmer's daughter from White County, and I didn't know how big the world was, let alone the Church of God. I didn't cross the state line until 1968 when I was 18 years old, 66 when I was 18 years old. And at Tennessee Camp Meeting, George offered, preached the camp meeting service, and he was calling people to come forward to pledge to buy bicycles and mules for Native evangelists back then. And several people at the camp meeting went forward, and I was like a leader at my home church. And I went forward, and many people were coming and taking the pledge cards, but Brother George Alford stopped it and said, God is calling some of you for more than buying a bicycle or a mule. He's calling some of you to give your life as a missionary. And in that same service was Gerald Holloway from North Chattanooga Church. And so that's where I received my missionary call at the Tennessee camp meeting.
So what had you been doing between then and the time that you received the appointment to go to Guatemala to prepare for missions?
With the help of an older brother and with Mevlin Haston, I pursued a college degree, university degree. Living in Sparta, I went to Tennessee Tech University. Didn't know about Lee College at that time. So my second year, I learned about the university. Well, it was Lee College then, not Lee University. And I told my mom and dad I wanted to go there because I wanted to study Bible and cross-cultural missions. And my brother just older than me said, Mom and Dad, that school is not even accredited. Well, my dad didn't have but a 5th grade education and my mom a 7th grade education. And he said, well, she's paying her own schooling. I think she should be able to study where she wants to study. So on my junior year, I left Tennessee Tech and came to Lee and spent 2 years full-time pursuing and adding the Bible minor and the missions minor and pursuing elementary education as a degree.
So you've mentioned several missionaries.
Yes,
The Altons, the Goodriches, the McCalls.
yes,
They've all, most of them have gone to be with the Lord.
yes.
For someone who never met them, tell us a little bit about who those people were and their significance in your life.
I believe all of those studied at what was BTS in Cleveland before Lee University. The Goodriches worked in Quetzaltenango and Guatemala and Fiji Islands. The Altons worked in all of Central and South America, and I believe their first service was in Dominican Republic. And then the McCalls throughout Central America, and I think Brother McCall, William McCall, was also director of the Bible school in Houston, the Hispanic school in, or was it San Antonio? Yes. So those people are all gone to be with the Lord and still a tremendous inspiration to me and those people who know their stories. The McCalls were grandparents for my sons. Eventually I married a widower, Bedford Smith, and we continued in Panama, and then we had a son born in Panama, and the McCalls were the grandparents for my baby there within 2 hours.
But tell us something about who these people were as human beings. What were they like as people? What were their lives like in terms of their influence in people and ministry of the gospel?
I don't know anyone in the history of the Church of God that I think influenced more people than W.D. Alton in the ministry. He had a dynamic teaching ministry in Spanish and in English, and William McCall the same way. Many of those people that are serving the Lord today will tell you they were impacted by the ministry and the love those men had to pour into to train people to come behind them. For example, Brother David Ramirez graduated from the seminary, International Bible, I forgot the exact name of it in Panama, in which Brother McCall was the president of that seminary. David was in that first class before I came to Panama. Many of our leaders have been impacted and will tell you these were men who are the reason I'm who I am today.
Thank you.
You're finished here, right? There's a cameraman that's out here, Orlando